Hi everyone, it's me again with another instructional video. This one's quite an exciting one. One of the more popular, bigger cases, the E+, which until now I've only been able to do as a picked up pre-built model, has the ability to be flat pack now, so these can now ship internationally, which is great news for me and for everyone that wants one. So I'm going to put a little video together of how to build it. It's very similar to all the others, with a couple of little differences which I'll go through. But basically, in your kit, you're going to have back panel, two side panels, top and bottom panel, and a shelf. And then there's 4 graphic pieces which go on the inside. Then we've got lights and a fixing kit of bits and bobs. So I'll go through all of that when we do it stage by stage. So for now, I'll move some of this stuff and we'll get started. Okay, so first step, what we're going to do is look at these panels. So we've got a top and a bottom panel, which has holes along the bottom. This back panel is all pre-drilled, ready to accept those. But there are 2 holes which don't go all the way through, which are for the little metal pins that hold the face panel on. So the top and bottom are identical, so it doesn't matter which one, but you just need to choose one to begin with. And then just, these are the pins that are going to go in those 2 holes. So we'll put those in first. It's just much easier putting them in at this stage than it is once the panel is here. You don't really want to be whacking it with a hammer. So that's just the best thing to do. So that's those panels prepped. Then got a bag of screws to fix those on through the pre-drilled holes which are already in it. So what we'll do is we'll start by just putting the top panel on, and then we'll fix the sides. So we'll do this one first. Actually, I'm going to move that. I've just moved the camera around a bit for this first panel. It's a bit easier for you to see. So I've located the top, I've put the pins in. So I'm just going to line this up with the sides. And as it's pre-drilled, there's no need to go through and drill any holes. What we do need to do is make sure that it's level at the bottom here. So we'll just put a little bit of pressure on that. Now I haven't screwed that all the way in yet. What I like to do is have the torque setting really low, but also don't really fully wind it. It only needs to just about grab it. Otherwise what you can end up doing is splitting that back panel. And this has got 5 screws in it across the top. So once those are all in, they don't need to be very, very tight. So we'll just do all of these. And then we'll do the same on the bottom. Okay, so that's solid as a rock now. Once we do the bottom, which I'll do now, we'll then look at the sides. Okay, side panels now. So we have 2 holes on the end which go into pre-drilled holes on these side pieces. So get that in position. You're going to need a pretty large working area for this. So hopefully you've got somewhere big enough. If not, maybe on a laminate floor or something like that would be okay. Just a bit trickier to get the screws in and out, but I'm sure you'll suss it. So I'll line this up with the end. That's 1. And 2. And what we'll do is I'll do the same on the other end, and then once we've done both ends, I'm able to pull it off the bench so that we can do these side ones. Okay, so now I've done 2 on this end and 2 at the other end, so I can have it coming off the bench and it's not gonna fall off. So what we can do, that gives us the ability to, when we're putting these screws in the bottom here, it gives us the ability to just feel and make sure that the back is flush while those are going in. So we'll just go all the way along and do these. Same principle again, they don't need to go really hard in, just about tight, and it is fine. So I'm going to do all the rest of these. I'm going to repeat that process on the other side, and then we can look at getting some magnetic on it. Okay, so we've now got a basic box all built. What we need to do now is fit the magnetic strips to this front edge. So you'll have in your pack 2 long and 2 short pieces of magnetic. Now before I start, when I'm building these for myself, what I like to do is just run a hoover on this front edge, just to make sure that any loose dust and debris is gone from that. It just helps with the glue on these, and then afterwards we're going to tack it anyway. But I'll just do that quickly on here, and then we can get to pinning that on. So I'll just do this. So there we go. I'm a domestic goddess. So we just peel this pink tape from the back. They're already cut to size, so we just want to line that up. They're the same width as the panel, so you just need to then carefully go all the way down. We can just do this gently to start off with, so it's more important that there's no bits sticking over the edge. We just need it so that it doesn't catch in the future. So it's just take your time. I've done quite a few of these, so it's easy, but it really is quite simple. So we'll just put a little bit of pressure on there. Then what I like to do is use a roller just to go over that. But as long as you can put plenty of pressure on that, you'll be fine. If you can get a roller, then great. Okay, so that's neatened it up really nicely. And then in your bag of fixings, you'll find a load of little panel pins. And then with the panel pins, I like to start about 1.5 inches in, just whack a fixing in there. It's just a safety measure, so that if at any point it gets very hot and maybe the glue doesn't take properly, then those will hold it in. And then what I like to do is I line the rest of the pins up with the screws that are in the bottom. So you only need another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down that edge. So I'll do that now with the rest of them, lining them up with the screws at the bottom, roughly. Just gives you a nice even spacing. And then once I've done that, I'll do the same to the top and the other sides. And then we can look at putting the graphics on. Okay, so I've been around and done all of the magnet on the front. This one is actually for a customer, so these are going to be going out with the magnet on. But just to demonstrate, we've now got the graphics. There are 2 small panels like this and 2 large panels like this. Now on the larger panels, the Death Star lights are very close on one end and further away at that end. So that end is the top and that end actually meets the shelf halfway down, but this will make more sense. So this is the bottom with our logo on. And what I'm going to do is it's actually sometimes easier to peel off a little bit of the backing. So there's just a protective film on there. It's actually much easier to peel that away now then put the graphic on, otherwise sometimes that can get stuck behind it. So what we do first of all is we take off this pink backing from the double-sided. And the reason for the split in the graphics will make perfect sense in just a moment. But again, one of the first things to do, just run your hand, make sure there's no dust, because what we don't want is for it not to be able to stick properly. So we just double check we've got no dust on there. And then this, we need to push right into the corner and right down to the bottom. And then we're just going to apply some pressure to that. This also has a protective film on, as you can see, but I'm going to leave that on for now. Really, it's best to keep most of this protective film on until right at the very end, because you don't want to accidentally scratch it or anything like that. So we'll do this graphic we're going to do on the other side, then we'll put the shelf in, and then the other graphics will hold that shelf in place. So I'm going to just swap round to the other side and do that now, and then I'll come back. Okay, so I've done both sides here with this first graphic, and then what we're going to do is take the shelf. Now the shelf is the same material as the sides, but there are no holes, no notches. What we want to do with that is peel back the bottom part of the protective film, because you don't want that getting stuck behind. And you'll notice that there is a hole right in the middle here. It's optional, you don't necessarily have to put a screw in there, but the shelf has one pre-drilled hole on it. So if you really want to, you can put a screw in the back. The hole is there for you to do that, and the screw is supplied. But what we really want is to push that shelf into the back and up against that graphic. What's happening there is that the graphics on each side are the side supports for it. So there's no fixings required there. Then what we're going to do is we're going to push the top graphic in right up to that top shelf and along here. I've already done the same with getting rid of the dust. So what we'll do now is take off this backing to the double-sided tape. Very satisfying. And then, as I said before, there is the bottom that hits the shelf is the one where the lights are very close to it. So just gonna place that up against the shelf and hard into the back. Apply plenty of pressure. And again, we'll leave this protective film on as long as possible. And at this point, I'm actually going to just fold back this protective film on the sides. And that will take care of that. And as you can see now, that shelf, if you wanted it to, could slide out of there. But it's really very solid. So I'm going to do the same on the other side now, and then we'll do a look at the lights, I think. Okay, so I've just moved the camera a little now, just so you can see the whole thing. So we've fitted the sides on, we've put the magnet on, we've put the bottom graphics in, slotted that shelf in, top graphics. That's that bit done. We've really only got to do the lights now. Now I can't fit the lights to this one because it's for a customer, but I'm gonna just demonstrate how that's done. It's very simple, and it's just one around and back to the beginning. Okay, so for fitting the lights, the first thing we want to do is just decide which side you want the jack plug to be coming out of. I would suggest just nearest to the plug. It doesn't really matter, it could even come out of the top if you had a high up socket, if you wanted to do it that way. But with these, basically I supply a remote set with these, which can go from warm white all the way through to 6000K, which is a really cool white. So the remote sensor is in the end here, and then you've got your jack plug section. So what I like to do is, rather than have that in the inside because it's quite ugly, is I just put it through this little slot, reverse it round, and then stick it to the bottom there. Now you notice on the back you've got this, again, double-sided tape. Peel that off, and then you'll stick the first piece in, and then go and stick all of the bottom. And what you'll do is go all the way around. It will bridge over these graphics and then come back to this same point. And then you can cut it at any point like this. So there's loads of those points all the way through it. But you'd probably use most of this. This is a 5 meter strip. And then once you've done that, there's a remote there, and this is your plug. So that will plug into here, and then you're good to go. So at some point, I may be able to update this with some fitting of the lights, but this one, because it's for a customer, I can't. But very simple anyway. So first step, stick that on there and go all the way around. Just make sure as well that you peel the protective film from here so that it's got something to stick to. Okay, we'll look at the face panel in a minute. Okay, so pretty much final bit now. When you get the face panel, there's a pink protective film on the face, and on the back there's no film. But underneath, I'll just move you around here, you'll see there's magnetic strip already applied. Well, it's actually steel tape, so you don't need to worry about that. The only thing you need to do is attach the logo and the bracket. So I'll just demonstrate how to do that. So in your fixing kit, you have 2 of these and 2 little nuts. So what we'll do is, I'm just going to peel back a little bit of this. Again, this one's going to a customer, so I'm not going to peel all of this off. But for my benefit, I'll just expose enough to attach this logo, and then I can put it back again afterwards. You can see the very high quality finish there. Also, the edges of these can be sharp, so just mind your fingers when you're handling it. So what we do, let's get the logo, and we just put the put that through there. Same on the other side. Then we line those up with the holes that are already in here. So that's in place. There's also a protective film on here which needs to come off afterwards. Then we take the bracket. 2 of these holes go onto the pins on the top of the case, and the other 2 go onto here. So from underneath, we're just going to line that up with the holes. See there, and then we're just going to put the nuts on the back, and that's just going to, only needs to be hand tight. That's going to hold that bracket in place. We'll do the same to the other side, and then that's it. Job done. Okay, so one of the last things to do is just to put some fixings on the back of here. You'll have 6 of these in the pack and 12 little black screws that fix them on. This is all pre-drilled. There's 3 sets on the top, 3 sets on one side, 3 sets on the other side, and it's just a very simple case of screwing those on, which I'll show you now. Again, be careful not to over tighten. They don't need to be really tight, they just need to be just 2. Okay, So you can see there. So there's 3 this side, 3 the other side. And then what I would suggest you do is, definitely with some help, offer it up to the wall to mark these points, and then use the fixing supplied just to get that touch to the wall, and then that's it. Okay, so there we go, all finished. That will need hanging. I've got to take this apart now and get it sent out to its customer, but hopefully you'll get years and years of enjoyment of gazing longingly at all of your lovely figures in there. I'll see you again on the next one.